everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For tonight's look, I decided to base it off of the outfit I'm wearing, which is a burgundy marled midi dress. I wanted to do a very romantic, feminine, soft look to match the outfit that I'm going with. So as you can see, I have focused on very soft wine hues when it comes to the eye, and then an almost rust colored lipstick to go on the lips. I think it's a very unexpected twist to tonight's look and will really complement the entire ensemble once put together. So continue watching to learn how I achieved this. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and enjoy! So I've already gone ahead and prepped my skin with the CAUDALIE Paris Skin Perfecting Serum. It's something I had recently picked up at Sephora. I use it mainly on my T-zone to mattify my skin and tighten my pores. So next I'm going to go in with my Naked Skin Color Correcting Fluid by Urban Decay and just go underneath my eye a little bit to kind of conceal those dark circles. I think I'm just going to do a few swipes underneath because I don't want my entire makeup application to get too heavy tonight. And then I'll simply go through with my beauty blender and just lightly dab it into my skin. So after we do our skin color correcting fluid, I'm going to go through with my Naked Skin Concealer, again by Urban Decay. I use the color medium light. So I'm going to go through and do that newer concealer method that I've talked about in previous videos, but I'm going to go through starting right at the inner corner of my eye and then just do a line down and then go out right underneath my lash line, and I'll do the same thing on the other end. And then again, I'll go through with my beauty blender and just blend that in, focusing on going toward the outer corner of my eye to really give the product the most efficiency and coverage near my triangular area. Okay, so next, foundation. I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way medium to full coverage foundation. I use the color Nude. And I'm going to do a couple of drops, I think maybe 2 drops into my hand. And then I also want to go ahead and combine it with the Marc Jacobs Dewdrops. So I'm going to go ahead and do maybe 1 pump of that into my hand. So ultimately, this is how your palette should look. And then I do want to go ahead and spray my beauty blender. It's the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist that I've had forever. But I'm going to just kind of dampen that beauty blender with it to give it a more luminous touch. And then I'll just go through, kind of swirl in those dewdrops. And then kind of apply a couple of dots onto my skin, just to get the general idea of where we are going to be applying our makeup, and then eventually I'll go through here and just blend that through. I do feel like by adding those Marc Jacobs Dewdrops and spraying my sponge with the Tatcha Mist is really giving this such an easy, effortless application. It's already a great foundation in my opinion to begin with, but this really just gives it such a seamless way to blend. And then also be sure to go down your neck. So I think the next thing I want to go through and do before I do my powder foundation is I want to work on my eyes a bit. I already went ahead and prepped my eyelids with the NARS Proof Eyeshadow Base, as well as my go-to Painterly Pro Longwear Paint Pot by MAC Cosmetics. I'm using the palette Morphe Happy Hour 15H. And I'm wearing kind of a burgundy marled dress tonight, so I'm going to go through and kind of match that look with some wine colored eyeshadow with maybe a gold touch for some added fun. I think I might actually go through and do my crease with the color called Spritzer. I think I'm gonna go through with my Morphe Cosmetics brush set and just kind of dab my fluffy brush into that, and then start by doing that windshield wiper motion over the crease of my eyelid. It's super soft and really peach, and I think it's an unexpected way to work this burgundy into our makeup look. I think it will complement it. It's not necessarily what you would typically lean on for a crease base, but that is the beauty of makeup. Nothing is necessarily conventional. And then now I want to go ahead and work on my eyelid a little bit. I'm going to be using the color Wing Woman, which is kind of our main focus for this eyeshadow look. So I'm going to go through with more of a flatter brush and then just really soak that into it. And then starting with the outer corner of my eye, I'm going to work that in and probably stop about, let's say, halfway through, because we want to make sure we leave that room to really punch in a lighter color to make that inner corner of our eye have some depth. So far this is looking super romantic, and I really love that we did that peach in the crease of our eyelid. So now I'm going to go through with our On the Rocks. It's our lightest color in the palette. And I'm going to use this flat brush by MAC Cosmetics. It's number 239S. And just layer each side into that, and then go through and then tap that into that inner crease, and then tap it into the inner corner of our eyelid where we had left some space with that Merlot color. And I'm going to go through again with our Wing Woman Merlot color, and then just kind of work that in there. And the entire process of doing a look like this is to continue layering the colors as you go about. They get a little bit too blended, maybe not blended enough, but ultimately use a light hand and have the right tools and you will be just fine. And for my eyelid, you can tell I typically do more of a patting motion. I feel like it does increase the intensity of the color, and not only that, it does cut back on fallout in my opinion, although some fallout is inevitable regardless, but I do feel like this has the most control versus swiping it. It's also the most buildable option in my opinion. And now I'm going to circle back to the crease of our eyelid and then just kind of swipe that peach again, blending that downward just slightly into that Merlot color, especially when we get into that outer corner area. It appears I've lost an eyelash, because what would a makeup tutorial be if I didn't lose eyelashes? So I may go back and add some more as we move along, but for right now I do want to clean up some of the fallout that I've achieved while doing this look. So I'm just going to wrap my finger around a makeup removing wipe and just kind of gently dab at the edges. I don't think I want to do the cut upward with this look. I do want to kind of leave it a little more blended. So I'm just going to be very light-handed about this. And then I'll go through with a fluffy brush and just kind of pull that outward a little bit so it softens the edge of the look. And then lastly, I want to go through, I think with the color, let's say Hotspot. It's this gold here in the middle, and I want to do that just underneath my brow bone to give it a little bit of highlight. Be very light-handed about this. We don't want anything too high up because we want the center of attention to be on our eyelid. Okay, so now we are going to go through with my Marc Jacobs eyeliner pencil and just do a black line on the upper lash line. And you can see we just did a really soft black line. Nothing too harsh. The look is very romantic, I'm gathering, and I think I want to keep it that way. So now I want to go through and just swipe my Cover FX pressed powder in G40 over my face to give it a little more of a mattified finish and a bit more staying power. That's always my hope. And I've already filled in my eyebrows with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in chocolate. But I'm going to go through with my Kat Von D medium brown dimension powder to give it just that, a little bit of dimension. Alright, easy enough, you guys. So now we're going to move on to a little bit of contour because that is currently what I'm in the mood for. So we're going to use our Smashbox Step by Step contour stick and then just simply go through and do underneath my cheekbone. Do right on the side of my nose, and then just kind of do a little V underneath. And then for a cream contour, that's typically all I like to do. I'm going to go through again and spray down my beauty blender with that Tatcha and then work that in. Okay, so now I want to go through and do a little bit of baking. I'm going to use the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I feel like it's a bit softer of the options I have. So I want to use my beauty blender, not beauty blender, but a beauty blender. And I'm just going to use, I think, the flat side, although it's disgustingly dirty. And then just dab that in there and then go through and then just lightly pat that right underneath where we had done that contour. And we're done. Just kidding. So I'm gonna let that sit for a while, and I think while we do that, I might go ahead and then work a little bit on my lower lash line. I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm using this Mary Kay shadow and liner stick that I came upon in my drawer. It has this really thick, creamy brown liner on the tip. So I kind of want to use that and then go underneath my lower lash line to do my liner. So it does go on pretty thick and pretty pigmented. I might just take a Q-tip and kind of thin out that line, because now I do want to go through with my smudger brush by Bare Minerals and then just go back and forth and really blend that in. So it definitely softened the look up a lot, which I'm really happy about. I do want to go in, I think I want to use the Burgundy Merlot we've been doing for our eyelid, and then just kind of run that across. I think it's really important for your lower lash line to have some cohesiveness with your eyeshadow look. So far it's looking super romantic, which I love. And then I want to go through with a little bit of that, I think that color we use on our crease, and just kind of dab it. It's really not a necessary step, but I really just love the colors that we're using right now and want to get the most out of them for this look. Big fan. Love the way this is turning out. I think we are ready to go through and just lightly swipe away our baking powder. I find that the baking powder isn't a necessary step as well. If you have the time, I encourage it. I feel like it really does give my face a more polished, finished look at the end of the night. But if you're in a pinch, not to worry. Now I want to go through and do a little bit of bronzing over that cream contour we already have going on. So I'm going to be using the BECCA Sunrise Waves Bronzer. So I'm going to go through and just swirl this MAC 100 brush through it, go over those areas that we had previously contoured with our cream, and then also do my jawline and my forehead. Alright, to finish off our eye look, I'm going to go through and swipe on the MAC Giga Black Mascara on the lower lashes. Now I want to go through and do a little bit of color on our cheeks. I'm using an old gem that I'm not even sure you can purchase, so I apologize, but it's the Fresh Bloom Almond Blossom palette by Kylie Cosmetics. I've had this darling in my drawer since high school, but I'm going to go through and really focus on that almond color and then just swipe it on my cheekbones. Super pretty. I hope they still have it. If they don't, they should bring it back. And then I do kind of want to do a little bit of the Shimmering Skin Perfector. And then I do want to go through on top of that and do a little bit of this BECCA Shimmering Skin Perfector. It's kind of this rose gold color. Pretty certain they still have this one on the market. I want to just dab that on top of the blush. It kind of gives a little bit of a romantic sheen. And then a little bit on the apples of my cheeks when I smile. And then lastly, for face makeup, I'm going to use a Bare Minerals Pure Radiance loose powder. I'll try to show you without tipping it. I'm going to go through with my highlighting brush by Fenty, and then just hug right into my cheekbones to give it some glow. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to do our lips. I'm using the No. 4 Peach lipstick by KKW Beauty. It's kind of a rust version of a red is how I like to describe it. So I'm just gonna go through and do a swipe on my lips. I already know her lipsticks are super creamy, so I'm not too worried about the hydration issue here. But I'm just gonna go through and add in that punch of color. So I didn't bother buying her lip liner that goes with it, but I am going to go ahead and use her sister's lip liner, the Kylie Cosmetics lip liner in 22. It's a little bit darker than Kim's lipstick, but it's a pretty close match if you happen to have it on hand. So I'm going to go through and then just really clean up the lines of my lipstick. And there we have it, you guys, this very soft, romantic, ethereal look for tonight. I'm super happy with the way it turned out. I think it's very elegant, very girly, very feminine. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please like it, subscribe to my channel to stay in the know, and leave any comments below for anything that you're interested in seeing or any tips and tricks that you have for me.